Source of the Stars Diagram. Before we take up the law of the Star of Bethlehem, it will be well to reveal the source of the diagram. To do this, a description of the golden candlestick with an illustration is given, so that everyone may judge for themselves as to its authority and authenticity. Moses commanded that there should be built a golden candlestick, which should be placed within the tabernacle of the Lord, and lighted, that it might give light over against it. A glance at the illustration will show that the light from the lamp of each branch is represented by a triangle of either life, love, or truth, each one of which must contain all three, for they are inseparable, and therefore each point of the triangle must represent life, love, truth. Now in the central branch, we find all three triangles represented, each with a point of life, love, truth, making 9 points, and this is where we get the Star of Bethlehem. The light of its meaning is given in the infinite progression of its ideas and association, which are substituted for the life, love, truth meaning. These perfect ideas, as the Word of God, are our states of spiritual being in mind and constitute the governing power of the Christ. In John 8:31 and 32, Jesus said, "If ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." From this it appears that we must continue in his word and walk in the knowledge of the Lord's law of perfection, for therein are we to become made perfect, made free from imperfections which we have acquired through following after false suggestions. Our freedom is to be gained through soul experiences of spiritual being only, as represented in the perfect law of the Christ. It is with this thought of perfection foremost in mind that the star and its law of the one Christ meaning of life, action, love, substance, and truth perfection is presented to you, with the hope that you will find in the following pages a spark of spiritual light, which is sufficiently clear and strong enough to light your candle, and by means of this light, find the straight and narrow path of absolute law, which alone leads into the kingdom of heaven. As a part of this preface is given the spiritual interpretation of the golden candlestick, which is the source of the diagram in the front of the book. The golden candlestick, a revelation of its spiritual meaning through the central star. This golden ornament was a spiritual symbol placed by Moses in the tabernacle of the Lord about the year 1400 BC. It is again referred to about 100 AD in the account of St. John's vision of the Christ given in the first 3 chapters of Revelation. Again, in 1900 AD, attention is called to it through the revelation of the perfect Christ, law, as given in the Star of Bethlehem. For this law of the life, love, truth meaning illumines the candlestick with light. In Exodus 25:31 through 38, we read a description of the golden candlestick, which Moses commanded be made and placed in the holy tabernacle of the Lord. And they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. The candlestick was a symbol of God's holy law of righteousness, and made to illustrate the relation and association of all Christ's ideas, as applied to the man spiritual, in order to correct the imperfect and therefore deceiving sense testimony of man mortal. This candlestick was more than an ornament, for it was a symbol of the law of life, love, truth to all generations. This object of gold, as a thing of material appearance, could not of itself reveal its spiritual meaning, for matter cannot speak, think, or express anything. Spirit alone has the ability. It is the work of Spirit which has revealed the law of the star of the world, that it might have a substantial light to guide it through the path of darkness. In verse 31, we read that this candlestick was to consist of a shaft having branches, bowls, nopes, and flowers, all to be made of pure gold as a symbol of one substantial love. In verse 32, a careful description of this symbol is begun, and in that which follows an endeavor will be made to associate with the description the ideas of the Star of Bethlehem, in order to give to the candlestick a spiritual meaning of law as that of the Christ righteousness. The base of the candlestick stands as a representative symbol of foundation of the one source of all true meaning, within the realm of the Father mind, or Spirit, from which comes the shaft as the Christ, who is to be the revealing law of life, love, truth, meaning, to all people and give them an understanding of God therein. This shaft, as the substance of Christ's law, includes three nopes as seats of power to give forth life, action, love, substance, truth, perfection, and from them are to come every true idea of spiritual light. We read that 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches out of the one side and 3 branches out of the other side. These branches correspond to the first and last points of the star in each realm of life, love, truth. But the central point all belong to the shaft proper and are placed in the 7th branch. Therefore, on the one side of the shaft, coming out from the nope of love, extends the branch of obedience as the beginning of all understanding, and corresponds to the first point of the star in the realm of love. On the other side, coming out from the same nope, extends the branch of harmony and corresponds to the third point of the star in the realm of love. Next, on the one side of the shaft coming out from the nope of truth, extends the branch of righteousness, which corresponds to the first point of the star in the realm of truth. On the other side of the shaft, coming out from the same nope, extends a branch of dominion, which corresponds to the last point of the star in the realm of truth. Next, on one side of the shaft, coming out from the nope of life, extends a branch of intelligence, which corresponds to the first point of the star in the realm of life. On the other side, coming out from the nope, extends a branch of wisdom, which corresponds to the last point of the star in the realm of life. Therein we have the 6 branches of the candlestick and the light of their meaning. Next goes forth the continuation of the shaft as the 7th branch, which is to be the center of the law itself. This branch is to represent 3 points of the star: the point of the life in the center of the realm of life, the point of the truth in the center of the realm of truth, the point of the love in the center of the realm of love. These points represent being, principle, and holiness. The points of the star, as well as the branches of the candlestick, are to be understood as lights of understanding coming from mind, and as giving one meaning to life, action, love, substance, truth, perfection. In verse 33, we read where each branch is supplied with 3 bowls, a nope, and a flower apiece, all of which correspond perfectly with the law as given in the Christ meaning of life, love, truth. For the bowls holding the oil represent the source of life, from which comes understanding, and being 3, they correspond to the 3 counterparts of each branch idea. For instance, the bowls which represent the counterparts of the branch of obedience are in the star shown to be loyalty, service, loveliness, loyalty as the truth of obedience, service as the life of obedience, and loveliness as the love of obedience. In this way, one true meaning given to each branch of the candlestick through the ideas in association with each point of the star. The nope is symbolical of the seed-bearing power, representing the life which is in itself. The nope is a seat of energy having an ever-living power of life presence within it, bringing forth in lightness of itself, thereby continuing its particular phase of mind expression. Above the nopes come the bowls, which are symbolical of the substance of the Christ mind, the source of all light, as perfected ideas in the law. The flowers are the ornament of realized good, as the love therein. Above the bowls come the flame of light, as the understanding of the one Christ meaning of life, love, truth, which alone, because of its final testimony as all, makes us to know spiritual presence. In verse 34, we read that in the branch of the shaft proper, that is, in the 7th branch, are 4 bowls. They are representative of love as holiness, truth as principle, and life as being, with Jesus as the perfect manifestation of them all. The almond-shaped bowls are representative of the triangular divisions in the points of the star, and are to contain the 3 ideas as the counterparts of the branch idea. In verse 35, we read where there is a nope under each set of branches, which is as a seat of power, to send out these branches. The first one represents the action and perfection of love. The second one represents the substance and action of truth. The third one represents the perfection and substance of life. In verse 36, we read that it shall all be made of one substance, as of gold, which is symbolical of the love as the very base of the Christ law. In verse 37, we read where 7 lamps are made and commanded to be lighted. That is, they must give forth an understanding as a meaning of one law of perfect righteousness, and a living expression of which we must abide, that we may be healed of all erroneous sense imaginations. Having associated together the candlestick and the Star of Bethlehem, wherein each gives to the other a meaning, then let us turn to the first 3 chapters of Revelation, where this subject is continued.